Black World, Black World, Black World TV.
On leave after video surfaced of him wrestling a quadruple amputee teen at a group home.
Yeah, the Associated Press reports it happened back in September. KGUN 9 obtained this dramatic video of the incident from the Pima County Public Defender's Office. It's 8 minutes long. The video eventually shows the quadruple amputee teen being arrested and the teen who filmed the encounter put in handcuffs.
Both teens have had their charges dropped by the department. Manuel Van Santen has been with the Pima County Sheriff's Department for 11 years. The department is investigating the conduct seen in the video. We'll have
Only on KOLD News 13 tonight, we are getting a look at explosive new video of a controversial arrest involving a Pima County Sheriff's deputy and a 15-year-old who has no legs or arms. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Maries.
And I'm Brooke Wagner. This video shows the deputy wrestling the teen to the floor. We do want to warn you the video you're about to see could be disturbing to watch.
KOLD News 13's Bud Foster joining us live at the Sheriff's Office along Vincent Highway with more. Bud.
Well, Dan, I showed that video to the Pima County Sheriff's Department just a little while ago. They had not seen the video before, and once they watched it, they did begin an internal investigation. Now, this incident happened a couple of months ago, but that video is just now coming to light. We were able to get our hands on it today, and as you said, it's going to be rather explosive.
And then they have an exchange, and he gets in his face.
And he curses at him.
You consider that egregious?
Yes, absolutely. Imagine you're this boy with no limbs who just got tackled by this large man with a badge and gun, and this man is now screaming in your face, and he's now threatening your friend who has the temerity to record this whole incident. Absolutely, that's egregious.
The 8-minute video begins with a deputy on top of the 15-year-old boy, wrestling him to the floor with shouting and swearing. Later, it also shows that same deputy arrests the 16-year-old boy who shot most of the video.
He's eating the bowl of cereal. He puts the bowl of cereal down. He puts his hand behind his back, and now the deputy's going to slam his head into the wall.
And he's completely restrained at this point and is not trying to resist arrest.
It doesn't look like he's doing anything.
Just for good measure, let's slam his head into the wall.
We watched the video with the public defender, Joel Feinman, and with his chief assistant, Megan Page, in their office.
I would be horrified if an officer treated my children this way, and these kids are already in the traumatic situation of being in DCS custody, and they're not even in a stable home environment, so I think it's absolutely horrific.
We showed the video to the Pima County Sheriff's Department Internal Affairs late this afternoon, which would not allow us to tape that. It was the first time the department had seen the video. It was not aware that it even existed, and as would be expected, they were non-committal.
It's difficult to really predict, but obviously there are a number of outcomes that could occur following an internal affairs investigation.
Meantime, the Public Defender's Office says it's rare that videos such as this make daylight. Usually they get buried, so when one does see sunshine, it's a rare teaching moment.
Men with badges and guns should not be acting this way, and that men and women who do act this way should not have badges and guns.
Now, those two teenagers were arrested. They were taken to juvenile jail and booked for disorderly conduct. That case right now is being prosecuted by the Pima County Attorney's Office. Now, I'm going to talk to one of those young boys tomorrow. They're in school, so we have to sort of work around that. And the Pima County Sheriff's Office told us late this afternoon that that internal investigation would probably take a couple of weeks. Dan?
Watching their reaction there with the Sheriff's Department as they watched that video for the first time, but you were in the room, correct?
Well, yes, and these men are professionals, and they're very stoic. They didn't show any emotion, but I'll tell you what, they watched every moment of that video. They watched it very intently, and then after it was over, they asked us for a copy for their internal investigation.
And also, Bud, who's advocating for this teen? He lives in a group home. Do you have any idea who's going to be helping him through this process as it just gets started?
Well, yeah, you're right. He is in a group home. I was told today that he has been abandoned by his family. He does have a lawyer. I talked to the lawyer this afternoon, and he said there's likely to be some civil action, some civil litigation somewhere down the road.
All right. Thank you, Bud.
Black World TV, the new black media. As you saw the video footage, the first video I showed actually explained that the two young men, the two boys, were actually released and the charges have been dropped, especially after the investigation started. This is the so-called police officer. This is a terrorist right here. You saw the actions of this so-called man on top of a 15-year-old who had no limbs. These type of people will go to no end to show their hatred for black people. They will go to no end. When you listen to the news anchor unfortunately told us something that we already knew, though, that they're surprised this video made it to light, because the majority of videos like this get pushed under the rug, just like they told us. They told on themselves. Also, what's interesting is the fact that this young man who was accosted by this so-called police officer, who had him pinned on the ground, I guess he had no other way of controlling the young black 15-year-old amputee. So, of course, he had to tackle and wrestle him. That was definitely, excessive force, for sure. This so-called police officer definitely should be fired immediately. He, just like that other man said, that anyone who conducts themselves in this manner should not have a badge nor a gun. You heard it for yourself. I didn't say that. But these people continue to show their hatred for black people no matter what condition we're in. So for you coons out there, for you goody two-shoes who you think that you're safe, just know that there are other officers out there just like this who act in this manner. Lastly, when the news anchor spoke about how his actions were very excessive, the force, you're not surprised, are you? Just go back into your memory banks, and if you go back to the video of our so-called president, Donald Trump, remember he said to police officers that instead of treating what you deem as a criminal nicely, that you should shove them in the car or shove them, be aggressive with them, in other words. And that's what these people are doing. I feel really unsafe, number one, but also helpless by a government whose Justice Department does absolutely nothing about these racist police officers who are on the police forces across America. And it's already been exposed that these white supremacist racists are on the police forces. And it's shameful that this Department of Justice hasn't done anything to weed them out. Lastly, the evidence of that is the fact that these so-called police officers keep getting away with murder. There's your evidence. So when you come to me talking about, do you have any receipts? They're evident. So again, I hope they fire him, because again, he violated not only this young man's civil rights, these racist police officers keep violating our human rights. That is significant. And then you have to wonder what type of people are they to continuously violate our human rights? This is Black World TV, the new black media. Peace out.